Okay, hey everyone, George here. So I'm at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. I spent the day here. So what I wanted to do now is present my thoughts, my reactions, pros and cons, and my general view of what I thought of the park as a whole here at Yes Island. So overall, I thought it was excellent. And if I had to rank the different parks that I've done, I would say Warner Brothers World was my favorite, followed by this, then followed by Ferrari World, then followed by Yas Water World. So that's the order in which I'd rank them. So let's start by discussing some of the pros. So first of all, there's a very extensive collection of sea life, from things such as sea lions to walruses to penguins to all sorts of stuff. So that is excellent. So that's very much appreciated. The next is immersive theming. You see some behind me. It's got like a range of things like shipwrecks. It's got mountains with snow-capped peaks in the Antarctic section. It's also got, for example, in like a central hub, a giant globe with digital effects all around it. And that's quite stunning as well. So that's very much appreciated. A good solid foundation for SeaWorld. There were also regular shows as well, which is also pretty good. So there were things like, I didn't see any just because I had only finite time, I could only do so much. But there are things like dolphin shows, for example, and a range of other shows. Then regarding merchandise, the merchandise is pretty good. I got a magnet with a shark on and the SeaWorld Abu Dhabi logo. That was about £7, about 35 dirhams in total. So that was nice. And they also had other stuff as well. Some of the stuff was a little on the expensive side, like a cup for about £10. However, there was other stuff like a shark that you could put your hand through and like move its mouth. That was only about £6. So it varied in price. The highlight though was you had a giant turtle as well as a giant manta ray. That was about £100, and these things are enormous. The aquariums themselves are spectacular. So I believe that SeaWorld Abu Dhabi holds the record for the largest indoor aquarium in the world. And there are these massive tanks that are really, really tall, these massive spherical tanks. They also have like submarine exploration theming. They really are spectacular. So it's wonderful seeing that. Some of the cons, I would say there could be more of a ride collection. It'd be better if there's a bit more. There's only 2 coaster credits here, not much else in the way of rides. So it'd be great to see a bit more. Maybe a water ride, like Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld in Florida. There was also limited food offering, and the food was okay. Well, it wasn't bad, it was all right. Some of the merch I mentioned a moment ago was a little expensive, so that's just something else to consider as well. There were certain very key photo spots as well. People wanted photos, and there was no sort of like formal queue. And it would be good if this was formalised, moving forward. Operations could be improved. They weren't terrible, but operations could certainly be, sped up. Instead of having 1 train on Manta, 2 would be definitely appreciated. And tickets were a little expensive as well. They were a bit on the expensive side. So those are just some things to consider if you're planning on visiting. In terms of things that I experienced today, the Hypersphere, which I understand is like an AI digital type of show, this was shut down, so I wasn't able to do this, unfortunately, which is a great shame because it looked fantastic. There were the opportunity to touch certain animals as well. So you could like touch these small sharks. I think they're like baby nurse sharks at the beginning. And they were very sweet, as well as these rays. And there was like a larger ray called, I think it was Alfreda. And she was very curious and kept coming to like see all the people. And she had a very slippery back. But that was very cool as well. So you had those sorts of opportunities. There was also in the aquariums like a submarine sort of explorer type theme, which was pretty cool. One important thing as well, the Antarctica section, because you had these different sections like Antarctica, One Ocean, all sorts of different stuff. And you get to them from the central hub and you can go explore these different sections. The Antarctica section is freezing. It was like 0 or 1 degrees. So I strongly recommend bringing something warm, a fleece, a coat, something if you're going to go explore that. And it's very cool because you've got like, walruses, otters, which are very sweet. They're like cracking blocks of ice. You've also got penguins too, which is awesome. So it's definitely worth seeing. In terms of the coasters, the 2 main coasters here, you have Manta and Eel Racer. Eel Racer is a Zamperla family coaster. Not much to discuss. It's nicely themed with like rock work, and it's got lighting effects. Not much of a layout, smooth, but no real sort of airtime or intensity, but still good fun. It does a couple of laps. Then you've got Manta, which is the Intamin LSM launch, and this is the headline attraction here. I thought it was pretty good. It's a top 25 coaster for me after formally doing my rankings. I rode it during the day and night. I've ridden it 8 times in total. I much prefer it at the back because you get much stronger ejectors than you do at the front, but you get good hang time during the front. And I definitely prefer it at night because what you have is these different like ocean effects outside. So you've got things like shipwreck, you've got rock work, and because obviously the deeper you go in the ocean, it gets darker. It gives that impression when you're on the ride at night. So it feels like you're navigating the ocean at a much deeper level. So that sort of thing is very cool. It's well paced, only a couple sort of minor slowdowns. It's not terribly aggressive, so it's definitely more of a family friendly Intamin LSM launch. And I would say my favourite elements on the ride, there's like a 0G roll, or like it was more like a barrel roll, which is a lot of fun, especially with the lap bars. And I'm not sure what the element is called. It's kind of like a top hat that kind of banks one way and then aggressively banks the other. I guess it's kind of like a top hat with a wave turn. Not sure what the element name is. If you know, then let me know in the comments. And the launches are fine. They're good fun. They're more like a sort of a glide with a bit of force to them. So but overall, it's a good LSM launch. A little bit rattly during the back, but nothing major. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts. Would I do SeaWorld Abu Dhabi again? Definitely. I'd definitely come back if I was in the UAE. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And I'll keep you updated with more hints, tips, reactions, and thoughts moving forward. So all the best.